What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Wednesday, January 3rd, 2024, and I have an emergency alert to share with you guys. Right now, it is 8:43 p.m. Eastern Time here in the United States, and we have some major breaking news coming in from all over the world, but I want to start with the Middle East first. So there's been an official statement put out by the United States and allied forces condemning the attacks in the Red Sea by the Houthis. And you can consider this statement basically a final warning to the Houthis. And if you remember, on New Year's Eve, I broke the story that the US and the UK were in the final stages of preparing for a massive strike on Yemen involving hundreds of missiles. And they said they were going to put out a warning. Well, it looks like this is that warning. You can see the date here, January 3rd, 2024, a joint statement from the governments of the United States, Australia, Bahrain, Belgium, Canada, Denmark, Germany, Italy, Japan, Netherlands, New Zealand, Singapore, and the UK. And we also have multiple countries putting out travel advisories now for Lebanon. We also have Iran promising to seek vengeance. So let me just start with this here. This is huge. The most concerning part of this statement here is the final paragraph, which says, "Let our message now be clear. We call for the immediate end of these illegal attacks and release of unlawfully detained vessels and crews. The Houthis will bear the responsibility of the consequences should they continue to threaten lives, the global economy, and free flow of commerce in the region's critical waterways. We remain committed to the international rules-based order and are determined to hold malign actors accountable for unlawful seizures and attacks." Okay, so let me read that to you again. The Houthis will bear the responsibility of the consequences should they continue. They are determined to hold malign actors accountable for unlawful seizures and attacks. So this is absolutely huge news, guys. This is basically a final warning. So let me just read to you the full statement here. Recognizing the broad consensus as expressed by 44 countries around the world on December 19th, 2023, as well as the statement by the UN Security Council on December 1st, 2023, condemning Houthi attacks against commercial vessels transiting the Red Sea, and in light of ongoing attacks, including a significant escalation over the past week targeting commercial vessels with missiles, small boats, and attempted hijackings, we hereby reiterate the following and warn the Houthis against further attacks. Ongoing Houthi attacks in the Red Sea are illegal, unacceptable, and profoundly destabilizing. There is no lawful justification for intentionally targeting shipping and naval vessels. Attacks on vessels, including commercial vessels using unmanned aerial vehicles, small boats, and missiles, including the first use of anti-ship ballistic missiles against such vessels, are a direct threat to the freedom of navigation that serves as the bedrock of global trade in one of the world's most critical waterways. These attacks threaten innocent lives from all over the world and constitute a significant international problem that demands collective action. Nearly 15% of global seaborne trade passes through the Red Sea, including 8% of global grain trade, 12% of seaborne traded oil, and 8% of the world's liquefied natural gas trade. International shipping companies continue to reroute their vessels around the Cape of Good Hope, adding significant cost and weeks of delay to the delivery of goods and ultimately jeopardizing the movement of critical food, fuel, and humanitarian assistance throughout the world. Let our message now be clear. We call for the immediate end of these illegal attacks and release of unlawfully detained vessels and crews. The Houthis will bear the responsibility of the consequences should they continue to threaten lives, the global economy, and free flow of commerce in the region's critical waterways. We remain committed to the international rules-based order and are determined to hold malign actors accountable for unlawful seizures and attacks. So this is huge news, guys. Okay, this is a final warning to the Houthis, and I don't think it's going to be much longer before they launch that massive attack. Okay, hundreds of missiles at pre-planned targets across Yemen. I think we could even see it this weekend. Okay, I don't think it's going to be a whole lot longer. And I want to just show you guys some of these travel warnings. Here we have Canada. Okay, they issued a travel warning today, 8:57 p.m. Eastern Time, January the 3rd. Okay, do not travel. Avoid all travel. Okay, that's what it says here. Avoid all travel. Let me just read to you what it says specifically. Avoid all travel to Lebanon due to a deteriorating security situation, civil unrest, the increased risk of terrorist attack, and the ongoing armed conflict with Israel. The security situation can deteriorate further without warning. If the armed conflict intensifies, it could impact your ability to depart the country by commercial means. You should not rely on the government of Canada for assisted departure or evacuation. Okay, so they're saying here the security situation can deteriorate further without warning. Okay, and they specifically mentioned the armed conflict. If the armed conflict intensifies, it could impact your ability to depart the country. Okay, so Canada just issued this today. All right, Germany also issued a travel warning. Okay, request to leave the country. Okay, status January 4th. It's already the 4th of January in Germany because they're 6 hours ahead of us here. So they posted this this evening. So let me read to you some of the details here. The security situation in the region is highly volatile. There are currently repeated military clashes in the border area between Lebanon and Israel, which can escalate further at any time. After the Palestinian Hamas launched a major attack on Israel on October 7, 2023, Hezbollah and other armed groups have also fired mortar shells, anti-tank weapons, and rockets on Israel from Lebanese territory since October 8, 2023. The Israeli military responded to this with counterstrikes and announced that it considered all movements within a distance of up to 3 kilometers from the blue line as targets. A further aggravation of the situation and expansion of the conflict cannot be ruled out, especially in view of the killing of the deputy chairman of the Hamas Politburo, Salih al-Aruri, in the Beirut area on January 2nd, 2024. This applies particularly to the southern parts of Lebanon up to and including the southern urban areas of Beirut. This is huge, guys. This is absolutely huge. Okay, Germany and Canada issuing warnings today for people to leave Lebanon. So something huge is about to go down, guys. Okay, the leader of Hezbollah, Nasrallah, gave a speech today. We had the assassination of al-Aruri yesterday, the second in command of Hamas. And then today, there were explosions at the 4th anniversary funeral service of Soleimani, the top Iranian general that was taken out by Trump. And over 100 people have been killed, and Iran is blaming the U.S. for that. And I personally think it was all set up by the Iranian government to build up hatred of the U.S. and Israel inside of Iran to have a justification to escalate military operations against Israel and the U.S. So I think something huge is about to go down in Lebanon. I think Iran is going to do something as well. We're going to see something massive go down in Yemen soon. So we're going to have like 2 to 3 fronts opening up in the Middle East now. We're going to have Lebanon, we're going to have Yemen, and then we're going to have something with Iran. Okay, so that's 3 fronts right there. Okay, Iran could potentially start attacking ships in the Persian Gulf. They could potentially launch missiles at the oil fields in Saudi Arabia. So very serious times we're living in right now. And Finland also issued a do not travel advisory for Lebanon on December 20th. And the U.S. currently has a do not travel advisory starting December 19th. And also, Australia has a do not travel advisory since December 15th. Okay, so multiple countries have travel advisories, and Canada and Germany updating them today. And Iran has promised to seek vengeance upon the perpetrator of deadly blasts that have reportedly killed more than 100 people at a ceremony marking the fourth anniversary of the death of a famed Islamic Revolutionary Guard Quds Force commander, Major General Qassam Soleimani, in a U.S. strike. The fear of the Zionist regime and its puppet terrorist groups of martyr Soleimani led to another crime in Kerman during his commemoration ceremony. The Iranian mission to the United Nations said Wednesday in a statement shared with Newsweek and posted on Twitter, Iran will respond with fire and fury to the orchestrators, perpetrators, and anyone who's aided and abetted in this terrorist attack. Those are some very, very strong words there, guys. What's interesting is they're using the same words that Trump used. Trump used to say, we will use fire and fury that the world has never seen. And it looks like Iran is now saying that they're going to respond with fire and fury because Trump was the one that took out Soleimani. Okay. So this is very, very serious, guys. A senior advisor to Iran's president blamed Israel and the United States for twin blasts that killed at least 103 people in the country's south earlier today. Washington says USA and Israel had no role in terrorist attack in Kerman, Iran. Really? A fox smells its own lair first, says Mohammad Jamshidi, an advisor to Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi. Make no mistake, the responsibility for this crime lies with the U.S. and Zionist regimes, he claims, without proof. Okay, so strong words there from the senior advisor to the Iranian president, basically directly blaming the U.S. and Israel. And this update was sponsored by My Patriot Supply. Guys, My Patriot Supply is doing a 60% off sale for the end of 2023. And they're also doing a 25% sale on their 4-week emergency food supply. To get these deals, you have to go to preparewithnyprepper.com. The link is in the description below this video. And their 4-week emergency food supply is contained within 2 rugged, watertight buckets. Free shipping is included. So you have a month's worth of food packed into just 2 buckets. If you have to bug out, you can easily take those buckets with you. If you live in a small apartment, you can easily find a space to store 2 buckets, and you're going to be set for at least a month. And this food is freeze dried, so it has a 25-year shelf life. It includes breakfasts, lunches, dinners, drinks, and snacks. And My Patriot Supply is also running a 60% off end of the year sale. And to take advantage of that, you have to click on the My Patriot Supply logo when you get to preparewithnyprepper.com. It's at the top of the page. You click on that, and it'll take you to their general store. And you'll see here all kinds of prepping and survival products. They have MREs. They have 2,400 calorie emergency ration bars. They have canned heat and cooking fuel. They have potassium iodide, survival seeds, solar generators, solar panels, anything you can imagine. It's all in here. So use the link preparewithnyprepper.com to get 25% off of their 1-month emergency food supply and to also take advantage of their 60% off sale across their entire store. And I'll leave a link in the description below this video. A U.S. official said the attacks today near the grave of General Soleimani looks like a terrorist attack, the type of thing we've seen ISIS do in the past. And as far as we are aware, that is kind of, I think, our going assumption at the moment. Okay, so the U.S. is blaming ISIS for this attack in Iran this morning. U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken will depart on Thursday for the Middle East, including a stop in Israel. as the United States continues diplomatic consultations on the Israel-Hamas war, says a senior U.S. official. Blinken leaves Thursday night for stops in a number of capitals, including Israel, the official says. The official provides no further details. The official briefing reporters on conditions of anonymity also said U.S. diplomatic envoy Amos Hochstein will also travel to Israel to work to soothe mounting tensions between Israel and Hezbollah. All right, so Anthony Blinken is going to the Middle East, guys, this weekend. And then this Hochstein guy is going to go to Israel to try to soothe any tensions between Israel and Hezbollah, which I don't think is going to work. The U.S. is dispatching senior envoy Hochstein to cool simmering tensions on the Lebanon border. Amos Hochstein, U.S. President Joe Biden's special envoy, is set to arrive in Israel tomorrow, a senior Biden administration official says, as the U.S. intensifies its diplomatic engagement to lower tensions between Israel and Hezbollah. Israeli officials plan to tell Hochstein that without a diplomatic agreement in order to shove Hezbollah away from the border, it won't be able to return residents to northern towns. Okay, so this is BS, guys. The U.S. is basically going to try to tell Israel, listen, just accept the situation as it is and don't attack Hezbollah anymore. A 250,000 Israelis had to move out from northern Israel because of Hezbollah, okay? And rather than the Biden administration helping Israel to push Hezbollah away from the border, what are they doing? They're sending some kind of bureaucrat to basically try to talk Israel out of pushing Hezbollah away. I mean, just absolutely despicable, guys. Members of the UN Security Council are calling on Yemen's Houthis, backed by Iran, to halt their attacks on shipping in the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden, saying they threaten regional stability, global freedom of navigation, and food supplies. Addressing the Council's first formal meeting of 2024, members also demanded that the Houthis release Galaxy Leader, a Japanese-operated cargo ship linked to an Israeli company and its crew, which the group seized on November 19th. The United States believes the situation has reached an inflection point, said Chris Liu, a U.S. representative to the United Nations. These attacks pose grave implications for maritime security, international shipping, and commerce, and they undermine the fragile humanitarian situation in Yemen, threatening the delivery of aid, Liu said. The Security Council should not let this continue. In this regard, and in the view of the urgency and importance of the matter, Japan believes the Security Council should take appropriate action to deter additional threats by the Houthis and maintain international peace and security. Japan's ambassador to the UN, Kazuyuki Yamazaki, told the council. Okay, so the UN Security Council meeting was held today. First meeting of 2024. And what did they talk about? They talked about the Red Sea and the Houthis. Okay, so that's where their main focus is. And that's why I think something huge is about to go down. I think that U.S. and allied forces are about to really teach Yemen a lesson in the coming days. Okay, a lot of people think that America is weak and that our military is a joke. And it's not our military, guys. It's the leadership of the U.S. Okay, America has the most powerful military humanity has ever seen. Okay, there is no country with the military capability that the United States has. Just one aircraft carrier strike group can completely devastate multiple nations. Okay, and Yemen is about to find out. Okay, so very serious situation, guys. And Russia blamed Israel for the situation in the Red Sea today at the UN Security Council meeting. Russia is confident that developments in the Red Sea are the direct projection of violence in the Gaza Strip. Russian permanent representative to the United Nations, Vasily Nebenzia, said, I think that hardly any one of our counterparts will deny the fact that developments in the Red Sea are the direct projection of violence in Gaza, where the cruel operation of Israel continues already for 3 months, the Russian diplomat said, at the meeting of the UN Security Council. Wow, guys, okay? So Russia is basically siding with the Palestinians. They're siding with Hamas. They're siding with Iran. Okay. This is disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Okay. What this guy said, he said, the cruel operation of Israel continues for already 3 months. And this is in line with Bible prophecy as well. Okay. The Bible says that Russia and all these Middle Eastern countries are going to form an alliance and they're going to attack Israel after Israel is forced into a peace treaty with them. They're going to attack Israel by surprise. Okay. And we're seeing the foundations of that being laid out here because Russia is supporting all the enemies of Israel. They're supporting Iran. They're supporting Hamas. They're supporting the Palestinians. Okay. All these countries they're supporting. Okay. Heavy fighting was reported in Gaza tonight. Palestinian media outlets report on heavy airstrikes and fighting in central and southern Gaza. Fierce battles are said to be taking place in the Al Maghazi refugee camp in central Gaza. In addition, repeated airstrikes are reported in the southern metropolis of Khan Yunis. There is no comment yet from the Israeli Defense Forces. And U.S. intelligence confirms Hamas used the Shifa hospital as a command center. White House National Security Council spokesman John Kirby says Hamas still has a significant force posture inside Gaza, but Israel's goal to defeat the terror group remains attainable. Kirby acknowledges, though, that while it's possible for Israel to significantly degrade Hamas's capabilities by eliminating the terror group's leadership, the IDF won't likely be able to erase the group from existence. 4 Hezbollah members killed as Israel strikes terror cell in southern Lebanon. A local Hezbollah official and 3 other members of the Iran-aligned terror group were killed late on Wednesday in an Israeli airstrike on southern Lebanon, 2 security sources tell Reuters. The strike brings the death toll in Israeli strikes on southern Lebanon on Wednesday to 9 Hezbollah members in one of the deadliest days for the group since it began exchanging cross-border fire with Israel in October. The IDF says in a statement that it carried out a strike against a terror cell operating in the southern Lebanese village of Yarun. And an Israeli airstrike in southern Lebanon killed senior Hezbollah official Hussein Yazbek. And Putin suggested during a New Year's Day visit with injured Russian troops in Moscow that the U.S. and its allies have blood on their hands for whatever Russian casualties have occurred during the so-called special military operation. Putin argued that the West was working in opposition to the existence of Russia and should be viewed as Moscow's true enemy. The point is not that they are helping our enemy, said Putin. They are our enemy. They are solving their own problems with their hands. That is what it is all about. This has been the case for centuries, unfortunately, and continues to be the case today. Ukraine itself is not our enemy, he added. Those who want to destroy Russian statehood and to achieve, as they say, a strategic defeat of Russia on the battlefield are mainly in the West. They want to disintegrate Russia. The Russian president went on to say that the West had been nurturing the Kyiv regime for quite a long time in order to create the war. Putin argued that the U.S. was working to exponentially increase the flow of artillery shells to Ukraine, while Russia was still outpacing the West in building up military equipment. Therefore, though it has been their goal to deal with Russia from time, we will deal with them faster, it seems, Putin said. Those who are trying to destroy Russia using Ukraine, that is the problem, but they will fail. It is simply out of the question, absolutely out of the question, he added. So very interesting, guys. And IAEA experts can't access 3 reactor halls at the Russian-occupied Zaporizhia nuclear power plant. For the past 2 weeks, the experts from the IAEA have been denied access to reactor halls of Units 1, 2, and 6 of the Russian-occupied Zaporizhia nuclear power plant, the IAEA said on January the 3rd, which is today. All right, so they can't access 3 reactors at the ZNPP. This is that massive nuclear reactor in Ukraine, the largest nuclear reactor in Europe. Maybe Putin is going to finally detonate those explosives there at those reactors and cause a meltdown. That could be Putin's trick up his sleeve, okay? And Russia shot down 12 Ukrainian missiles over the Belgorod region. This is coming from the Russian news agency TASS. Apparently, they shot down 6 Tochka U and 6 Olka missiles. And Belgorod authorities are asking locals to avoid posting photos of the effects of Ukraine's bombardments. The mayor of Belgorod, Valentin Demidov, has asked local residents to avoid publishing photos and videos of the consequences of artillery bombardments. Dear friends, I am asking you very much not to take photos and not to share or post anywhere any videos and photos showing the consequences of bombardments and of anything connected with the special operation in general. He wrote this on his Telegram channel. So basically, the mayor of Belgorod and the Russian military are concerned that these Russians living in Belgorod are basically doing free battle damage assessment. Okay, so that will help Ukraine to adjust their strikes to target certain areas. So this is something that Ukraine did during the beginning stages of the war. They told Ukrainians not to post on social media the effects of any Russian bombardments because Russia was looking at those videos and then they were going on the internet and using Google Earth and triangulating the location from the videos and then adjusting their fire. Okay. Poland's military spending in 2024 will amount to 4.2% of their GDP, which amounts to 40 billion US dollars, of which 56% will be allocated for equipment modernization and purchases of new weapons systems. Okay, so Poland is really arming up. They're going to spend $40 billion on their defense this year. And the death toll from the earthquakes in Japan has reached 65, and more than 100 people have suffered injuries of various severity. There's been more than 300 earthquakes of various strength since Monday, with the most powerful of them being a magnitude 7.6. So 300 earthquakes, guys, since Monday. Absolutely insane. I want to just show you guys some flight activity. So this is coming from tonight, actually. We have several aerial refuelers and a sub-Hunter plane active off the coast of Virginia Beach. I don't know if there's a Russian or Chinese sub out here, and that's why they have a P-8 with 3 refuelers, so they can keep that P-8 airborne so it can monitor this area. But Virginia Beach is where we have Norfolk Naval Base, which is where we have a lot of our aircraft carriers. So very interesting and very unusual. And here we have an RQ-4 Global Hawk, which is a U.S. reconnaissance drone, and it's flying back and forth in the Black Sea, east to west, just south of the Crimean Peninsula. And this could be a potential targeting pattern. It's potentially getting information for Ukraine about the location of Russian warships. So Ukraine could either potentially target them, or so Ukraine can find out if Russia's preparing another massive missile strike. And here we have a picture of the Polish army during a parade. You can see all these Leopard tanks that they have here. And I want to just update you guys on this massive sunspot that caused the X 5.0 class solar flare 2 days ago. It is now slowly rotating towards the Earth-facing side of the sun. It's actually rotating relatively fast. You can see where it is now over here on the left side. And probably within the next 2 to 3 days, it's going to be facing us directly. Okay, so it's possible we could have multiple events kicking off all at the same time. We could have this massive attack on Yemen at the same time as Hezbollah launches some kind of massive attack on Israel. And then we could also have this massive sunspot give off a massive solar flare that would cause a power failure and a grid down situation. So I'll keep an eye on this thing, guys, but over the next couple of days, there is a good chance that we could see a massive flare come out of this thing, and it's going to be Earth facing. So, and finally, I just want to share this pretty funny video. It shows a Catholic priest in Nigeria holding a shotgun. And the reason why is over the last few weeks, there's been a lot of Christians being killed in Africa. And so this priest has decided to take matters into his own hands to protect his flock. And he's got a shotgun here. I think that's pretty cool to see. So that's pretty much it for this one, guys. I will be back tomorrow with more breaking news. So make sure you're subscribed. Hit the notification bell below this video so you get notified when I post these updates. So have a good night, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. God bless. And don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere.